Coming up on today's show, the Tesla Roadster and Cybertruck are officially delayed to 2023 and 2022 respectively, as Tesla, like the rest of the auto industry, struggles with parts availability. General Motors says it won't restart production of the Bolt EV and Bolt EUV, nor the battery packs for them, until it's confident LG Energy can supply it with fault-free battery cells, and MotorTrend raves about both the Rivian R1T and Lucid Air after getting substantial time with both. These stories and more coming next. Welcome back to another episode of TN Transport Evolved News. Before we get going this week, I think I need to acknowledge that this week's show is quite heavy on Elon Musk and Tesla, for reasons that will become apparent. There was just a lot of Tesla newsworthy coverage this week, so just don't go calling us Tesla Evolved. This show is sponsored by the Electric Auto Association. Stick around until the end of the show to find out how joining the EAA can help you finance your own clean energy or transportation purchase. It was 2017 when Tesla first unveiled the second-generation Tesla Roadster, colloquially known as the Roadster 2.0, and 2019 when Tesla unveiled the Tesla Cybertruck. Both vehicles have long been exciting Tesla fans, with promised production pushed back a few times in recent months due to several issues like the ongoing chip shortage, COVID-19, and the fact that Tesla is really bad at keeping to Elon Musk's very optimistic timelines. This week, however, Musk gave the bad news that both the Cybertruck and the Roadster will be further delayed, with the Cybertruck expected to enter into production at the tail end of next year, not this, and the Roadster not expected until 2023. And only then if next year is, quote, not mega drama. The Tesla Semi, meanwhile, was already pushed back earlier this year to next. Swedish two-wheel specialist Cake has always stood out from the competition in the electric motorcycle and moped world, thanks to its very utilitarian design of the lineup, which includes mopeds and motorcycle variants of its Osa and Kalk two-wheelers. Now there's a new addition to the family, the Makka, a street-legal moped that Cake hopes will find a home in both Europe and North America. It's designed as a commuter vehicle with a 3.6 kilowatt motor and a range of around 50 kilometers, 31 miles, for mixed use. With those specifications, it's not meant to be a hardened biker vehicle, but rather for car drivers who want to leave their car at home. It can be ridden in many markets on a car license, although that does vary depending on where you live. More importantly, it will start from under $4,000. Tesla reportedly held a company-wide meeting this week at which, at least according to Electrify, Elon Musk talked about Tesla's long-awaited and much talked about affordable EV. Many fans of Tesla refer to this as the Tesla Model 2, a car Elon Musk first referenced last year during Tesla's Battery Day presentation. At the time, he'd hinted that it would be fully autonomous and stated it would enter into production when Tesla had perfected its new 4680 form factor cells. Since then, we have heard zip from Tesla officially, but at this week's meeting, Musk apparently told staff that he wanted Tesla to begin producing the car in 2023, hinting that he wanted it to have no manual driving controls. Given this rumour comes from an unnamed source and Tesla doesn't have a press department, we should treat this one with a pinch of salt, especially given some of Tesla's bad news stories this week and Tesla's propensity to announce new, exciting distractions when the news cycle dictates. It's the IAA in Munich next week, and as such, we're starting to see some of the vehicles due to debut at the event. And just before we filmed today's show, Audi held an event to debut its latest all-electric concept car, the Audi Grandsphere. Not to be confused with the Skysphere sports concept we told you about a few weeks back. It's the latest in a long line of futuristic concept cars from the brand. The Audi Grandsphere is meant to envisage what a fully autonomous vehicle future will look like, and Audi says it's meant to be a private jet for the road that just happens to be all-electric. The front seats are very plush, while the rear bench feels a little unfinished. Some say this previews a new stretched all-electric A7, but I think that's pushing it. If you've been following the ongoing saga of the Bolt EV fires and ongoing Bolt EV and Bolt EUV recall, you'll know that after a lot of humming and hawing, GM agreed last week to replace the battery modules in every Chevrolet Bolt EV and Bolt EUV ever made. So far so good, but as customers are starting to get really frustrated, GM confirmed that all Bolt and Bolt EUV production, as well as battery pack production, would remain halted until it's confident that battery supplier LG Energy can provide fault-free cells. Right now, I don't think that's happening, and with news of yet another Bolt EV fire happening this week, this time involving a Bolt whose battery was at 30 miles remaining state of charge, I suspect this story is far from over. As usual, we'll keep you abreast of the situation as it develops. This week has been quite the politically charged one in the US state of Texas, as the state officially adopted the country's most draconian and terrifying anti-abortion law, changed gun control law to make it easier to carry weapons in public, and passed anti-voting legislation, as well as tried to push again for anti-transgender legislation. In response to the widespread backlash, Texas Governor Greg Abbott publicly stated that he, quote, frequently talks to Elon Musk, and that Musk told him, quote, he had to get out of California because, in part, of the social policies in California. He added that Musk, quote, constantly tells me that he likes the social policies in the state of Texas. Tesla and SpaceX, also helmed by Musk, both have major investments and operations in Texas. But instead of taking the opportunity to speak out against the new laws in Texas, which are anything but libertarian, Musk said, quote, in general, I believe government should rarely impose its will upon the people, and when doing so, should aspire to maximize their cumulative happiness. That said, I prefer to stay out of politics, end quote. It's an awkward non-response that has already upset plenty. As Rivian heads towards customer deliveries later this month, production examples are getting into journalists' hands, and this week MotorTrend got an exclusive amount of time with the luxury off-roader. Calling the R1T the, quote, most remarkable pickup, the publication waxed lyrical about the R1T's many features and its capabilities, from its, quote, killer powertrain and suspension to its huge amount of power at the wheels and sprint time. But when taking it off-road, the team of seasoned auto journalists at MotorTrend praised its torque vectoring, attention to detail, included full-size spare, and ease of changing a flat. It was, however, less impressed with the R1T user interface, criticising how, like Tesla, pretty much everything is controlled by the touchscreen tablet in the centre of the truck's dash. We seriously cannot wait to get some time behind the wheel. Even though the R1T got MotorTrend salivating, it also had some more praise to share, this time for the Lucid Air, another car it got exclusive access to this week. Calling the car an absolute mic drop, the publication praised the Lucid Air Edition R and Lucid Air Edition P, and noted that the vehicle inside and out is exquisitely finished. From reading the review, it seems as if MotorTrend viewed the interior as being more classic Mercedes than the Mercedes-Benz EQS, because, unlike the EQS, the Lucid hasn't plastered screens everywhere on the dash. Then again, to be fair, MotorTrend veteran Johnny Lieberman was taken in the air to go and look at luxury watches because apparently that's the kind of thing that you need to do if you're spending a huge hunk of change on the Lucid Air Sedan. But again, I cannot wait to get behind the wheel. While the Ford F-150 Lightning won't go on sale in Europe, there's been a lot of interest across the continent in the more common choice for commercial vehicle owners, the all-electric Ford e-Transit. This week, we finally got the official pricing for the same in the UK. While it will be the first all-electric Transit in the Transit's nearly 50-year history, it will also be one of the most expensive Transits ever made, with a starting price of £42,695 sterling before incentives, and before taxes, because in the UK, commercial vehicles are priced without purchase tax. That's the equivalent of nearly $60,000, and frankly it's a bit of a disappointment considering that the US variant will start from just under $45,000. As we've barreled past the point of no return when it comes to stopping the effects of anthropogenic climate change, we are now in a world where mitigating the worst of those effects is super important, and transitioning to EVs is a great way to help. But former UK Prime Minister Tony Blair's Institute for Climate Change has just published a report stating that carbon dioxide emissions aren't the biggest challenge facing the UK. Rather, congestion is. It proposes road pricing, effectively pay as you drive, to reduce congestion and reduces people's driving, while also maintaining a healthy income for the UK Treasury, because EVs don't pay road tax. But sadly, any pay-as-you-drive system would allow those with deep pockets to carry on polluting as before, while simultaneously penalising those who are on lower incomes and traditionally have to live further away from where they work. And now it's time for short shorts. Subaru has released photos of its upcoming all-electric Solterra SUV. But if it feels like deja vu all over again, that's because the Solterra and the upcoming Toyota BZ4X appear to be the same car with different badging, much like the FRS and BRZR. DC fast charging provider Electrify America is offering complimentary fast charging across the entire US over the Labor Day long weekend. This is a busy travel time for folks getting in their last taste of summer, so it's nice to see. Just please, wear a mask. Navistar has launched an electric variant of its medium-duty truck. Called the EMV, it will have a, quote, 210 kilowatt battery pack, we think they mean kilowatt hours, yielding 135 miles of real-world range, and to have both level 2 and DC fast charging capabilities. Lotus has announced plans to release 4 all-new electric models by 2026, with 2 electric SUVs, 1 electric 4-door coupe, and an electric sports car. These are in addition to the already announced electric hypercar. Russia has detailed its plans to boost electric vehicle adoption. Purchase incentives, toll-free travel, loans, and battery leases will all contribute to reaching a goal of 25,000 EVs on the road by 2024 and 10% EVs by 2030. Xiaomi, the second most popular smartphone brand on Earth, has plans to get into the electric vehicle market. The newly announced Xiaomi EV subsidiary already has several hundred employees and $1.5 billion in registered capital. The Opel Astra has been a fixture in European driveways for more than 30 years, and going into its 8th generation, it's getting a plug. From the launch of the new Astra, you'll be able to get it as a plug-in hybrid, with an all-electric version due out in 2023. Electrified vehicles made up nearly 1/3 of Irish car sales this year, with plug-in vehicles accounting for more than 14%, split evenly between battery electric and plug-in hybrid models. This is certainly nice to see. Electra Meccanica has revealed a cargo version of its Solo electric three-wheeler. When I drove the Solo earlier this year and wasn't very impressed with it, I noted that a cargo version would be a nice option, though the aesthetics on the new model are not to everyone's tastes. Zero Electric Vehicles, which produces EV conversions for medium and light-duty applications, has announced plans for a new headquarters and production facility to carry out conversion work, as well as someday build its own electric vehicles. My favourite off-roader of all time is hands down the legendary Land Rover Series 2A, and now, thanks to Everati, who do brilliant EV conversions of automotive icons, you can now buy one with an EV heart. Form an orderly queue behind me, and pretty much every other automotive journalist, please. Battery development firm StoreDot has announced an ultra-fast charging cell for an electric vehicle. Built around a 4680 form factor cell, the company claims its new design can fully charge in just 10 minutes. Electrify America is partnering with NFI Industries to build 34 DC fast chargers specially for heavy trucks to use. The chargers will support NFI Industries trucks based around the ports of Los Angeles and Long Beach, California. Autocar is reporting rumours that Volkswagen is preparing to reveal a concept version of its ID.2 compact electric crossover. The site claims that the ID.2 will be about the same size as the current Volkswagen T-Cross and have a starting price of €20,000. But it's also known for publishing any rumour with a pulse. Lucid will be holding a pre-production preview week at the end of this month, with ride-alongs, factory tours, and an opportunity to talk to company engineers about its upcoming Lucid Air Sedan. And yes, we have received an invite. We'll be there. We can't wait. Genesis, Hyundai's luxury division, has announced that all of its new models will be zero-emission battery electric or hydrogen fuel cell companies from around 2030. Ford's upcoming F-150 Lightning now has 130,000 pre-orders. The challenge now is that the company's production plans mean that if all of those reservation holders convert to purchasers, it will take a really long time to deliver the trucks. BMW is further strengthening its commitment to reducing carbon emissions and developing a circular economy for its vehicles from manufacturing through to the end of life, with plans designed to keep the company in line with the needs of a 1.5 degrees C global reduction in greenhouse gas emissions. The Australian state of New South Wales had intended to offer an incentive for EV purchases starting September 1st. But COVID lockdown had put a vote on the plan on hold, so if you buy an EV now, you will be eligible for the incentive if it passes, but if it doesn't pass, you'll be out of luck. The Indian government is encouraging domestic electric vehicle manufacturers to end their dependency on Chinese components and focus on an Indian supply chain, but industry insiders say that will take many years to get to that point. Later this month, DTM plans to run a 1,200 horsepower electric race car at the Red Bull Ring in Austria without an occupant. Instead, the vehicle will be controlled remotely from a simulator over 80 kilometers away by champion driver Tim Heinemann. In a move that would give Shell, through its subsidiary Ubitricity, 1/3 of all of the charging market in the UK, the company plans to build 50,000 new EV charge points across the UK to provide on-street charging through lamp posts and bollards. Queensland in Australia has begun requiring an additional tag on the licence plate of battery electric and hydrogen-powered vehicles to notify first responders that the car they're interacting with contains high-voltage components so that they can take appropriate precautions. BMW Motorrad has revealed its CE02 concept bike. With styling somewhere between a mini bike and a scrambler, we expect it to essentially be an electric scooter with a more exciting form factor. But again, we'd love to put one through its paces. Motational and Hyundai have revealed their joint venture Ioniq 5-based robotaxi. The Level 4 autonomous EV is intended for use in Motational's driver rideshare service that it's launching in conjunction with Lyft. Robo 5 is alive. Cupra, the more hot-blooded of the Volkswagen Auto Group brands, has teased its Urban Rebel concept, a sporty electric two-door coupe built on the Volkswagen MEB platform. It's kinda bonkers, and we at the channel kinda love it. Warehouse and distribution company Performance Team has ordered 16 Volvo VNR Electric Class 8 big rig trucks. It's the largest single order of the model to date, and it will see the trucks making regional deliveries in Southern California. Attendees at Fully Charged Live this weekend will get to see the official debut of the all-new electric Morris JE commercial vehicle. With an innovative and all-British design, this retro-style beauty sure seems like a worthy successor to our beloved Morris's name. And those are your short shorts. There will be more next week. In the automotive world, it's long known that making a special edition of a vehicle based on a popular or successful race car is a great way of bringing in some extra money. I mean, think of any mainstream brand with a hint of track pedigree, and you can bet a sporty version was designed and sold, even if said version was a little more than a few tweaks to the drivetrain and an over-the-top body kit. But now Zero Motorcycles is following suit, announcing that it will be making a 100 limited edition run of a Zero SRF with what it's calling the Zero Quick Strike package. Inspired by the factory race build that climbed the lauded Pikes Peak International Hill Climb in 2019, these super rare SRF models will get carbon fibre fenders, lots of anodized metal, and special badging. It will cost you just shy of $1,000 on top of your regular SRF pricing. And finally, the boring company tunnels that connect the Las Vegas Convention Center's various halls to the Las Vegas Strip were originally promised to whisk people from place to place with minimal fuss in practically no time at all, thanks to a fleet of fully autonomous Teslas. So far, every Tesla running through those tunnels has been piloted by a human, with strict rules prohibiting autopilot use. But this week, we learned via TechCrunch that TBC, as it likes to be known, is readying itself to start testing autopilot on its Las Vegas Convention Center loop, as well as increase the number of cars on said loop from 62 to 70. However, while TBC is eager to get everyone riding in an autonomous vehicle, there are still some teething problems. A Freedom of Information request details that less than 2 weeks after the Las Vegas system opened, there was a security breach when a private vehicle entered the tunnel system and drove around. Methinks they might have been playing Midtown Madness a little too much. And on that note, we are done for the day. But before I go, I would like to thank the Electric Auto Association for sponsoring today's show. They've been advocating for electric vehicles since 1967 and firmly believe that our future depends on us making the switch to clean, green electric cars today. The EAA can help you find someone near to you that you can help make that switch to electric. It can help you become an EV educator, and it can point you in the direction of monthly meetups for like-minded EV fans. And if you do become a member, you'll gain access to a brand new clean energy and EV loan program set up between the EAA and the Colorado Clean Energy Credit Union. You can find out more by heading to electricauto.org. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel, hitting that bell, and doing the same to our 2 other channels as well. That's Transport Evolved Take 2 and Transport Evolved Shorts. We would love it if you would support us through Patreon or Ko-fi if you're so inclined. And don't forget that you can buy your own TE swag over at our Redbubble store. The link is below. And if you're feeling chatty, don't forget to drop by our free-to-join Discord chat room. I or someone else of the team will be back soon with more video goodness. But until next time, thanks for joining me and keep evolving!